Sega.
Sonic Team.
Greetings everybody, it is I am the one and only Pac-Man here, and I'm from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you our another redo Let's Play for the channel. This what appears to be by the forms of, as you can see on screen, we are playing Nights into Dreams. First came out in 1996, from the likes of the Sega Saturn, and in 2008 for the PlayStation 2, and in 2012 we have not only for the Xbox 360, but also the PlayStation 3 and PC Steam. So even then, that's a grand total of 5 versions of Nights into Dreams. So as you can see on screen, I'm going to be playing this on the Xbox 360 version because you've recognized the actual button icons as you see on screen, and also that this is on 1080p as opposed to 720p, so it just makes things, I don't know, a little bit more nicer, I suppose. So even then though, now originally we did done this game back in 2016, but it does have a lot of issues. Like for instance, the views counts wasn't nearly as high as I've hoped, and second of all is the fact that the sound mixing is pretty bad. So as a result though, that we feel like we're gonna able to do this game for as a redo let's play. And well, at least the quality itself looks nice back in the day, but every now and then it just feels a little bit, I don't know, outdated compared to the forms of how it does it on multiple redo let's plays in the past. So yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. So anyway, so from the get-go, as you can see on screen, that we can either select either the brand new Dreams or the Sega Saturn Dreams, as you can see on this main menu screen. I think the only differences between the two is that the Sega Saturn Dreams is basically you play the classic version of Nights into Dreams based off from the Sega Saturn game, or on the likes of the forms of the brand new Dreams, it's more accurately like the HD remastered version of the game, and it's also kind of feels like inspired by the Japanese exclusive PlayStation 2 version, so we'll try to able to go through brand new Dreams mode for the majority of this playthrough. So even then though, from the get-go, you probably already noticed about the fact that we've already come across into 3 intros, which are basically the Nights into Dreams intro cutscene, as well as the forms of the intro cutscenes between Claris and Elliot, which I believe what these two represents when it comes to dreams and stuff like that. I believe Claris is actually evolves around singing and stuff like that, while in Elliot's case, he's playing basketball. So even then though, which, unlike in the sequel, you know, Knight's Journey of Dreams, that I know for the fact that in Will's Dreams case, that he's obviously playing football, or soccer, if you will, whilst in Helen's, she's basically playing some music, except that she has an instrument. So yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. So, now, if you remember from my Let's Play of Knight's Journey of Dreams back in, I would say back in February or something like that, that we did manage to able to tackle through the forms of Will's Dream first, and then Helen's Dream for last. Well, I feel like for the sake of this Let's Play in particular, I'm going to be starting with the female counterpart first. So, to be more specifically, Claris to begin with, and then eventually Elliot until later on. So, yeah, let's begin. Nights into Dreams. And the first level we have for Claris is Spring Valley, which for this particular environment is very recognizable, especially noticeable how the fact that, wow, they actually referenced Spring Valley quite a few times in the forms of some other Sega games, like, you know, in Casinopolis level from the likes of, you know, in Sonic Adventure, when if you come across into Nights into Dreams pinball machine and stuff like that. So anyway, so yeah, this is Nights into Dreams. If for those who ever played, well, let's just say if you're following for our Let's Play of Knight's Journey of Dreams on the Wii back in February, like I said before, basically this game is going to be involved around the forms of, I would say, that you're going onto the forms of on rails or something like that. Or maybe you're going for a linear, well, it's kind of hard to explain because I know it has been, I'm not gonna lie, a very long time since I actually did manage to play the first game in the series when it comes to Knight's games. Although technically speaking, the last time I played this was actually on the original Sega Saturn version of the game that I did manage to able to test it out back in, well, during the likes of last Christmas, because as you probably already know about that, ever since the new forms of the actual, well, Christmas 2020 unboxing video that we've actually got both Nights into Dreams and Christmas Nights into Dreams, which, by the way, I will try to show off the forms of that special unlockable thing if you do manage to complete the game once, when if you're able to actually just, well, you probably know the idea. So anyways, as you can tell, that we actually got ourselves some, well, those blue chips. That's basically what these blue chips can do. Basically, this allows you to able to progress. For the sake of the forms of likely, as you can see on screen, that we actually did manage to able to break one of those. I don't know about you, like the cage parts or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what these things are. But basically, you do need to acquire 20 of those blue chips until you're able to actually get one of those spirit orbs and stuff like that. So, at least if I was assuming correctly. So, even then though, yeah, that's pretty much as far as this is concerned. And, basically, that, you're able to actually just to go through rings, just like the forms of how it does it on, before when, Knight's Journey of Dreams came along. For the Nintendo Wii, of course, and you can able to actually perform some link combos if you're able to do quite a number of things. Like for instance, that I can manage to able to go through rings and grab some blue chips, and eventually some of these little star collectibles, or even especially noticeable, just trying to able to pull off the acrobatic like loop thing, which again, it has been a long time since I actually did manage to play this game. That as I mentioned this before about the fact that that was back in 2016, that we've technically already did that Let's Play back then, but of course that Let's Play is no longer there, just because of bad sound mixing. So because of that though, yeah, that's as far as I can say in terms of the forms of, well, Nights into Dreams itself. Although, that since this is the first game in the series, unlike the sequel, that basically, I believe you're actually going to be coming across into, well, in each and every single level, that basically we have to go through 4 sections before we get into the actual boss fight itself. And also, as you can see on screen, and every now and then, if you come across into the blue chip and the star loop, or the hoop rather, basically that you would be able to actually do a bit of a skill tricks routine. Like basically you can get some additional scores. And by the way, the highest rank you can get up to is easily the A rank, much like the Forms of Power does it, where before the Sonic games comes into play with all this ranking system, like ever since Sonic Adventure 2 and onwards. So, I'm not exactly sure if the Forms of Sonic Frontiers were able to have the ranking system. I'm not exactly sure, because obviously with Sonic Frontiers it's going to be an open world game, or should I say an open zone game, because, well, I have no words to say about it, for the sake of likely for... Well, we will able to actually hear more info about the game at some point in the future. Well, to be more specifically, until likely for the next few weeks or something like that. Well, at least for what I've heard about it anyway. So, yeah, today's day is of course the 15th of December today, in this case in 2021 today, until Christmas is approaching. So because of that, yeah, super hyped, and especially noticeable, I cannot wait until that particular Christmas season starts to shine once again. So, however though, here's the thing, is the fact that for the sake of this year, that we decided able to do things a little bit differently, because after the events of what, you know, the fact that on the likes of the finale video of the likes of the Christmas unboxing special that you've already know, that recently White Teddy dipped his eyes, so yeah, it seems kind of sucks for what I've heard, so... But I digress. And also another thing as well is the fact that since that today it is the 15th, like I said earlier, so this means also that the final Nintendo Direct for 2021, called the ND World once again, is going to be up until today. Although unfortunately, I don't think I can probably mention more about that until specifically, like, for instance, I will do the uploading schedules on this until, like, well, let's just say, 3 days per week. Well, technically, this week that it's usually 2 videos, and then, basically until next week that we will do, like, 3 videos in next week before... Well, Christmas is approaching, so because of that though, I think it might actually be a perfect opportunity that, hopefully, we would be able to actually just to finish up some of these, other Let's Plays before we move on to the forms of the new year, which is of course 2022. So, now for what I've heard, speaking of the forms of 2022 anyway, although I'll get to more now in a moment, because, well, obviously I'm trying to able to concentrate on this from now on, so because of that though, trying to build up some, you know, more scores and all that stuff though, in case if I, oh, by the way, as you noticed, that, you know, ever since the new forms of our Let's Play of Night's Journey of Dreams, that as you can tell, that every time you transform into Night herself, basically though, is the fact that you would be able to, like, or it's like, I have no idea, but anyway, so, as you notice, there's actually a time limit on the center of the screen, specifically on the top center of the screen. This actually represents how much longer you're able to have while taking control of Night, because as far as I'm aware, if you somehow manage to let the time run out, while you're able to actually just try to do some more flying and what have you, if the time usually reaches to 0, you transform back into the human forms of, well, let's just say if you transform back to Clarice or Elliot, so even I know that might be something worth noting for, so... And I believe just like any forms of it does it on the forms of, well, to be more specifically, for the sake of the forms of Night's Journey of Dreams that usually, relatively speaking, is that depending on what specific playthroughs you go into, like for instance, for example, that if you're trying to complete the level within, well, I have no words to able to think about it, so as you can see, we actually defeat the very first boss fight in the game, which appears to be a very simple, like, a fish monster and stuff like that, which, again, it has been a while since I actually did manage to able to look on certain things like this, so, yeah, because I somehow managed to get distracted because, well, unfortunately though, my computer starts to lag again, so that always attempts to do that, especially noticeable with my, edited skills and stuff like that. Speaking of Sonic Adventure reference, as you notice on the actual results screen music, that particular music was actually reused from the likes of Sonic Adventure on that, you know, Nights into Dreams pinball machine, so yeah, that's the forms of Spring Valley, and as you can see, I've got myself a C rank from that particular decent run for the sake of the forms of Spring Valley. And now let's move on to Elliot for the sake of Splash Garden. So in this case, the Affection? Because unlike in Spring Valley, it's actually the Ideal. So in this case, we're now going to be taking control of Elliot for pretty much doing the same thing. So yeah, and Splash Garden is also a very recognizable world, especially noticeable that has been referenced from the likes of Seiko Superstars Tennis, despite the fact that I sadly no longer have Seiko Superstars Tennis, because I have no idea why. I'm pretty sure that the controls somewhat messed me up beyond belief, so that's why I somehow managed able to stop playing Seiko Superstars Tennis. It's kind of a shame, honestly, because that would certainly feels likely an underappreciated, you know, Mario Tennis ripoff, but aside from that, it's just that the controls just manage to ruin me sometimes. But regardless of such though, I used to have it on a DS, but it's actually a fake bootleg copy, which I realized about this from the start, so yeah, you get the idea about the actual topics worth noting for, especially noticeable about the fact that, wow, since that this is this particular game is going to be slightly shorter in comparison to the forms of Knight's Journey of Dreams, this is pretty obvious because, for one thing, that unlike Journey of Dreams, that this game has no mission structure, so because of that, no repeated the same level 5 times for that particular each mission, so, and also with the actual, no need to worry about this very, not gonna lie, an alright voice acting from the likes of Journey of Dreams, but the animation-wise, it can be pretty dodgy at times, but that's probably just me. And also throughout the majority of the forms of this game sometimes is the fact that you will come across into the forms of those eggs that you somehow managed able to hatch, which actually allows you to able to actually just to open up the forms of Nightopians to able to actually just to, well, get certain points or something? Although, mind you, it's, again, like I said before, it has been a very, very long time since I actually did manage to play this game, since the Sega Saturn version, so now, usually back in the day in 1996, which, seriously, this game is pretty much 25 years old right now, which, man, time flies. So yeah, basically, back in the day in 1996, that normally, that Nights into Dreams did manage to able to come with a, well, a Sega Saturn 3D controller bundle, so as a result though, that the best way to able to play the game is by utilizing with the analog stick controls. So because of that though, that's the only way you can able to actually experience the game proper, because this is all likely almost like 3-dimensional, so as a result though, it just feels like the actual recommendation if you're having a good time trying to take control of the game. Because if you try to utilize with the directional pad though, back in the day in 1996, if you don't have the 3D control pad, then you're basically out of luck. Well, to be more specifically, if you have a standard Sega Saturn control pad. Whilst luckily for the Sega Saturn 3D control pad, basically that you can able to switch between either the analog stick for 3D you know, 3D environments and stuff like that for the 3D movements, which thankfully it works on multiple games for I've collected for certain Sega Saturn games, like specifically Sonic 3D Flicky's Island is another one of those examples, and of course Sonic R, and of course Sonic Jam. Well, not so much the actual everything, for Sonic Jam, aside from Sonic World portion, because you're able to take control of Sonic in 3D. Well, that was before when Sonic Adventure was a thing, after all, for the Sega Dreamcast. So, well, Marvelous 9. So, how's that for that particular trick? So, but yeah, that's as far as I can say in terms of the forms of Nights into Dreams, honestly. It's just the fact that, well, the ultimate goal is the fact that we need to be able to collect. Well, I will classify for saying that when it comes to those blue chips grinding, I'm pretty sure you do need to collect about 80 of those blue chips per level. So, yeah, because of the, well, 4 sections you have to go through, and, also that every time you come across into that particular thing, as you saw on screen, that basically that you're gonna have to able to put in so many of those blue chips to able to actually just to get out of the actual, the orb itself or something, so... Oh yeah, in some cases though, as you can see, that Knights did manage to technically transform into, let's just say, like a mermaid or something like that. Whilst unlike the forms of Knight's Journey of Dreams, that you do able to unlock certain transformations if you somehow manage to complete, you know, one of the worlds, if you somehow manage to able to accomplish those specific stuff. Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning, that in order to able to unlock the final level in the game, which, by the way, that I probably will talk more about it until later on, that I'm sure that most people already know what I'm gonna say, that the Twin Seeds, the final level in the game, is gonna be requires you to able to get, if you're following for a Let's Play of Knight's Journey of Dreams, that's obviously that we remember the forms of that one of those segments from the likes of Will's Dream, that I somehow managed to able to actually screwed up on one of the missions from the sake of the second world. That's basically because I somehow got a lower rank compared to C or higher. Because yes, just like in Knight's Journey of Dreams, in order to able to actually access the final portion of the game, you have to be sure that your rank count goes up to C or higher. Because if it's below that, then you can't able to unlock the final level instantly until you're able to get a good rank. Well, a decent rank out of that. So this forms the next boss fight, as you can see right there. Basically, it's kind of a fun one, but it's actually kind of difficult on the HD port sometimes, because, well, sometimes the camera gets a bit freaky-ish sometimes. So yeah, basically in this entire boss fight, basically we need to send this particular fatty little, you know, belly flop kind of monster and stuff like that. Again, I don't know anything else about the forms of certain creatures like this, but basically all you have to do is basically we need to send her all the way towards at the very end of this particular hallway, and if you do that, well, you're gonna be able to break those specific little breakable objects, as you can see. Like, for instance, we actually did manage to break one of the fences in the middle, and yeah, there's also another one just over there. And then as soon as you make your way to the end, like specifically right there, well, not that specific angle, but you need to aim for that 3 pillars there, and that should squish her, and that pretty much does it for, well, Splash Garden. So, pretty standard stuff for that, for the sake of the first level, so, nicely done. And let's see what rank we got. We got, once again, the C rank. So, again, I might not be the best at the game, but I will try my best if I decide able to go for, like, certain higher scores and stuff like that. But if I somehow mess this up, like, if I get below C rank, then I probably will save it up until likely for the second attempt until for later. And by the way, every time you finish the very first level in the game, it tells you certain hints and tips. So, yeah, that might be something worth classifying for noticing this. So, yeah, I guess suffice to say, we'll go ahead and end things off at this point right here. So join me next time on Let's Play Nights into Dreams. And that is the fact that we'll take on the second levels between both Claris and Elliot. So I'll see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.